Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a little winter scene. We're going to have some trees and a little bunny with some snowy sky. It's going to be really fun and I think pretty easy. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's managed chat for our live show today, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. All right, so I decided to use a longer canvas today. This is an 8 by 16 inch canvas from Fredrix. Their Pro, Nature Core mixed media board. It's got smooth sides, so that's nice. It's actually one solid piece. Wow, my camera did not like that, did it? Oh my goodness, it keeps going in and out. What is it doing? I may have to, it's maybe because it's so far away, I may have to change the angle of it. Anyhow, sorry about that. So, yeah, it's really smooth. So this is going to make it nice for our project tonight. I'm going to be using a large flat for the background. This is a number 2 inch from Princeton Aspen series. And then I've got a number 8 Filbert. I might use, maybe not, I don't know. For the background. And then I've got a few little detail brushes. So I've got a couple fan brushes in different sizes for the pine trees. I've got a 10-aught and a number 4 in the Select series. And then a Deerfoot Stippler, 5/8 inch. And then I've got a couple of the Willow's blenders. So these are all basically going to do similar things, almost, same things. They're just going to have like a little bit different tip. So these ones are more of a filbert shape. This one's got more of a round, but it's still angled tip. And then these ones are the flat fan brushes that you've probably seen multiple times being used. So really any of those would work for most all of what we're doing. If you don't have all of those different brushes, don't worry about it. I've also got a number 1 round and a script liner. So you will want a liner brush for some of the smaller branches on our large tree. And then I've got a 1/4 inch angle shader in case we need something for some of the larger branches. So those are our main brushes. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a toothbrush for some of the splattering. Favorite time of year, splatter movement. Love it. We like the splatters here. And then I've got some different watercolor pencils for doing some of the sketching. Really, mainly, we're just going to need it for the rabbit. And I wasn't sure if I needed a gray or a white for him because we're going to have the dark background on there. To start with, I'm going to use a blue for the sky. I like to try to get a color that's close to my whatever it is that I'm painting so that it blends in easily. So like in this case, I wouldn't use a red or something like that on my sketching. And I don't use regular pencils because they don't dissolve. And so you'll actually be able to see them through your paints, especially on this white. So if you like had a line here with like a graphite pencil and you tried to cover it up with your white paint, you'd kind of see that faint line of dark underneath. So that's why I use watercolor pencils or chalk or something that would dissolve. And then you'll possibly want a palette knife if you want it for mixing up some of your colors. Let's go over our colors really quick. I've got carbon black in 2 different kinds. This is just a liquid form, so it's a little bit thinner. It's going to make it easier to do our tree branches. Carbon black, burnt sienna, phthalo blue green shade, Quinacridone Magenta, Unbleached Titanium and Titanium White. Those are both Titanium White. And this is Zinc White. I don't know that we'll need the Zinc White. We'll see. I'm thinking I might use it to kind of cloud out the background. I'm going to try to get the background in one go. We'll see how that works. But if I can't, then I might use the Zinc White for later, glazing. And then this is our glazing liquid to help with the background. All right, so let's get going here. I'm going to use this pencil and just kind of sketch out lightly. Whenever I'm doing something that's like low to the canvas, and I know that, I may end up getting framed someday, I'm going to want to go above the 1/4 inch mark because usually frames will come up to about maybe a 1/4 inch or so. So I'm going to come up above that, even though our line might, in our photo was actually an inch wider in the reference photo. So I'm actually kind of squeezing the image a little bit to get it. So normally I would just cut off the bottom part of it, but it's so low already to the edge that I don't really want to cut off any of this bottom part. So I'm just going to kind of do a area here. And again, try not to get anywhere, leave a little bit above like a 1/4 inch on all spots there, just so that we have a good bit of it showing in case you ever did frame it. All right, and then our main tree is going to go right in here, kind of right in the middle, just a little bit off center. Our rabbit's going to go right in here somewhere. We're not going to draw all of that in right now, but I just kind of want to get a general idea. The shape is going to be like this pear shape right in here. So that is where I'm going to want to focus my halo effect on my background. I know I'm doing it really lightly, but I don't want to have to fight these paint or fight them later. And then our pine trees are going to go here and a little bitty one over here. So I left plenty of room for those. All right, let's get going here on our painting. So I'm going to mix up with the palette knife. I'm going to mix up quite a bit of, I'm going to take a big, ooh, that was, wow. Good. It's like nails on chalkboard.
Nice.
Sound. Yeah.
I'll turn off the mic so you can get it. Hey, somebody had a question about the palette knife. They wanted to know plastic or metal, which is better or worse.
I don't think it matters really. Metal are a little bit stronger, more flexible than plastic I've found. So that's, I just tend to go for those, but the plastic are fine. I used plastic for years because I don't use palette knives all that often. So really it depends on how often you're using them. If you're going to be doing several palette knife things, I would invest in a good couple different sizes of a good metallic palette knives. But if you're not doing them that often, just get a $1 set of plastic ones. It's fine. Wow, this is making all kinds of weird noises. All right, so I think that's pretty close to what I want. I want kind of a deep teal, so I went more blue than the burnt sienna there, and I might add a little bit of black when I go around the very outside edges, but I think that's pretty good. So I wanted a lot of it because we're going to use it in the trees and stuff too. So I'm going to wet my brush down. I'm going to start with the large brush here, and I'm just going to brush off this extra paint so we're not wasting it. And then wipe it off while your paint's still wet. If you've got it like this and it won't come off, you can use alcohol to rubbing alcohol to get it off your palette knives. Alrighty. Oh, that's a pretty color. Love it. All right, let me spray it a little bit to keep it moist. And I'm also going to spray my canvas just a little bit, like once. Don't overdo it, but it'll help kind of moisten it a little bit. And then I'm going to grab, actually, I'm going to start with this. What do I want to do? I just realized I didn't want this color on my brush. Sorry. I'm like having a crisis here. Like, what do I do? Okay, let me just wipe that off. Hilarious. Hashtag live.
There you go.
Real life.
Mix it all up, put some on your brush, then wash it out.
Then wash it out.
Check. This is what the pros do.
This is a pro tip.
Pro tips.
No.
You do not get this anywhere else. Beginners usually just pick up the paint they want the first time.
Little known fact.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just sitting here going, uh-oh. Well, there's really no way to hide that.
Okay. We're changing what we're doing today.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so white and the unbleached titanium, that'll give the sky just a little bit of a kind of a, like a yellowish tint, because that unbleached titanium has that kind of a yellow tone to it. I'm going to get some of this glazing liquid because I don't want to go too thin on this. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of put it in that area behind my tree to start with and thin it out. So I don't want it super thick. I'm going to go around here, and this bigger brush just kind of helps this go faster. I've started to use the bigger brushes for my backgrounds. I find that it really does help kind of speed things along. So getting just a little bit of that blue, and I'm going to go on the outside. So I want it to blend in. This area is really the only area that's going to be that color there. So I'm starting well outside. You can see how much wider I went with that. I did not go just right in here and then expect it to blend. So I've got to leave myself a lot of area here for those colors to blend. And that way I can start way out here and then lightly, very lightly, go back into that area where that lighter color is. See how that does? So grab some more and do the same thing on the other side. So outside my blend area with my new color, and then in, back and forth very lightly until I get to the area where I don't want it to blend. That's working really well for this. Really nicely. Okay, so then I'm going to get a little bit more of that dark color, some more of that glazing liquid. A little bit of water. The water just kind of helps release that paint off your brush. Again, going outside the boundary of where I just painted, I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way to the edge. And I'm not worried about this bottom area, the white. Ooh, that's pretty. So I'm going to bring it nice and far in here. There we go. Always starting with the light color first so that it'll be there to blend in. You don't want to go any far past. And if it's getting this color all the way to here, then you know you've got too much paint on your brush. So what you do in that case is just wipe your brush clean of this dark color and quickly get this light color and do the light color and push it back. It's harder to push back the light color or the dark color with the light, so you'll need a lot of the light and you may have to do it multiple times. So just try to kind of slowly encroach on that on your light areas, because it's a lot harder to get that darker color off than it is to introduce it. If that makes sense. Okay, and so you want to keep it going pretty quickly. So having this larger brush just makes it much easier to go ahead and get all the way in there. And I'm going to hopefully, and there's some of the dark at the top now that I'm seeing it, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up and around. And then I'm going to wipe my brush off now. So I don't want too much of that darker color on there anymore. I've got to do this quickly before this dries because I don't want it to dry with these streaks in it. I'm going to get some of that glazing liquid and some more of my lighter color. Okay, and I'm going to go start in here right on that edge right there and just push that around. There we go. Very light touches right here. Very light. If you press too hard, you're just going to lift your paint off. And we don't want that. Okay, getting some of that darker color now.
Okay, people are complaining that you're making it look too easy, so could you struggle some?
Make it look harder. It's actually, this brush makes it pretty easy. I'm saying if I was trying to do this with a smaller brush, it wouldn't cover as much area. It does kind of blend out much quicker, these kind of things. So I am finding that I'm liking these larger brushes. I've just started kind of introducing them in with my paintings because they sent me these as a sample. Princeton did. By the way, thank you to Princeton and Fredrix. They're our brush and canvas sponsor. I did not mention that before. They're awesome. And,
yeah.
They provide us our canvases and brushes. I had not used Fredrix before I added them as a sponsor, but I really like them a lot. But Princeton, I'm the one that contacted them because I was already using them, and I was like, hey, you think you want to send me some brushes? I'll talk about you. And they're like, sure. So it's a win-win for me because I get all these awesome brushes and get to talk about a company that I actually really like and support. So
Yep, and you did a series of little short tutorials
I did.
for them. That's over on their YouTube channel, the Princeton Brush channel.
Yeah. So if you want to see how to use different kind of brushes, go check those out. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's not super blendy right there in the middle, so I'm gonna try one more time just to add some of that lighter color. I don't want to overdo it because I do want to leave that dark color at the top. It's kind of hard because it goes really quickly from light to dark right there. So let's try one more time here. Very lightly. And also, you kind of have to have a canvas that's not going to dry out too fast on you. So, all right, I'm going to just have to let that dry and probably use a smaller brush because what's happening is it's just not small enough. It's wanting to. Oh, maybe it did. Maybe we did it. We'll see. Maybe that did it. Really light, like I'm barely touching here.
So, did you mention where you found this painting?
I didn't. No. We did a thing on my Facebook page, actually, like way earlier this
In September.
September, yeah. And just asking people to submit pictures from Christmas ideas for our paintings. So we've chose 3 that we're going to be doing in December, and one of them is going to be our bonus video on Patreon. So we'll have to have we'll give Tracy her free access to that one, the one that
Nice.
submitted the barn. But this one was submitted by 2 people actually, Jane Yates and Deanna Bates. Or it might be Deanne, I'm not sure. Probably Deanne, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but thank you to those ladies for submitting this. It was awesome, beautiful, and it's actually was voted number 1 in one of the polls for ones that people wanted to paint. So it was very popular.
Populars.
I'm gonna just use a kind of a light blue for the bottom of the snow, and
We got a
kind of tap it in here.
paint question when you got a chance.
Okay. Yep.
They want to know, how do you know if your Phthalo blue is green shade if it doesn't say on the tube?
If it doesn't say, then it's probably is green shade, because the kind of the neutral green phthalo blue is more green. Some phthalo blue, the phthalo blue shade is basically ultramarine blue, ultramarine blue. So you'll be able to tell right away when you mix it. It will make a teal. If it doesn't make a teal, if it makes a purple when you add white, then it's the blue shade, or red shade, I should say, red shade. So I'm just tapping here. Okay, we're gonna add lots of white over the top of this, but we just want a little of this dark blue or kind of light blue there to start with. I love this color. It's so pretty. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna definitely add a little bit more black to the sides. I didn't get to that because I was concerned about this part, but and honestly, most of this is covered up by the tree. So if you don't get it perfect, don't worry about it. Most of it's going to be covered by that tree anyways, so it's not going to have to be like just so for it to look right. So I'm probably going to have you dry this for me, honey, really quick. I didn't realize, but yeah, I'm going to have you dry it. And these will take a little bit longer I mean, I guess I could do the sides, but those solid core ones kind of take a long time to dry because the paint just kind of sits on top of them instead of, there's no airflow underneath. So, all right, I'm getting all this blue off my hands. One, just because, but also because you don't want this, especially when we're working with white stuff, with this blue. If I was to touch a part of the canvas that was going to be, once it's dry, it would transfer to the canvas from my hands. So, because acrylics stick to one another. So I want to spray that really well, keep those moist. And let me share with you what we did in our, just talking about Patreon. So we just finished this guy in our $10 group. We worked on him it's a 6-hour project. So in the Patreon stuff, if you're interested in that, that's just kind of bonus videos that I don't do public. They're paid videos. So once a month I do a $5 level one. And then and those videos are usually about 4 hours-ish. And then I do longer ones for the $10 level group, and they get their own Facebook group. And so that's who did this one with me, the $10 level. And they also get they get to do polls. So let me show you the $5 level project that we just did too. So that was the bonus video for November for the $5 level folks. So when you sign up, you get all of the previous bonus videos plus any new videos for that month. So one a month. So we've already done the one for November. So if you signed up in December, then you would get December's plus November's. But anyhow, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so they got to vote. The $10 level group also gets to vote for whatever we do for the bonus videos. So they get to kind of choose what's happening. So next month we're going to be doing like a Christmassy barn. If you go to my Crowdcast, if you just kind of Google Crowdcast Angela Anderson, it'll pop up. You can see the upcoming videos, and you can also see all the bonus videos that we did this year on Crowdcast that are posted there. So thank you, honey. Looks good. All right. And just got paint on my hands, touching it. Perfect.
I missed all of what you just said. Can you say it again?
Oh, I just talked about Patreon is all.
I didn't put Patreon down there. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I got a button for that.
That looks good. All right, so I think I'm going to use the smaller brush for some of the more detailed stuff here, and I'm going to go ahead and do another layer here. I feel like we can get away with it. And I need more glazing liquid. I've already kind of gone through all of my glazing liquid here. And this is where I was thinking that I might use that Zinc White because it's transparent, so it'll go over this a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some of that too. And the glazing liquid also makes the paint transparent, so we're kind of win-win. There we go. And I don't want this to be pure white because our tree obviously is white. So I want the pure white to be coming from our tree. So we can add just a little, a little bit of blue here. There we go. Small brush strokes and okay, then it's pretty close, quickly going to the dark side. Disney Channel Plus is awesome, I have to say. Just a plug for that right now, if you haven't checked it out. Disney, call me. Our son Nathan, we got Disney Plus, and he like on the day he was like, are we gonna get Disney Plus? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And it's like, okay, because I want to watch a Star Wars thing. And he came over last weekend for Spencer's birthday, and He knows all the backstory. I think he read all the books, so he was just filling us in on all these backstories for, like, there's a new series called The Mandalorian, and it's just hilarious. I loved it. So cute. This is our 20, how old is he? 28? Love it. Love it. So cute.
And only 3 days until Liam and his handler show up. And get the room ready.
We did get the room ready today. Decided to move the heavy marble table that is kind of on shaky legs that might fall over on him.
And the mirrors on the floor.
And the mirrors on the floors, yeah. So making it baby safe. We have not had to worry about baby safe in a long time. So all right, noticing that's really dark down here. It's not one to blend very well for me, so I'm just having to add this glazing liquid to kind of make it behave here. Definitely didn't get it in there the right on the first try. Go ahead and get that lighter color. There we go. What you laughing about?
Oh, people are just saying, commenting on my Liam and the handlers
Yeah.
comments. They said that one day Liam would be reading through and laugh.
Hopefully.
So what people wouldn't really realize when they first look at this painting is how much time is spent on the background. Just
Yeah.
all the different layers and all the different shades.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't all go on in one stroke.
Right.
It takes a little time.
Yeah.
It's
Just
not
to do it right.
This isn't McDonald's.
No. Definitely not.
We try to get your order right.
Don't start. We've been eating out still because of the home renovation stuff, although we don't have that excuse anymore, so I don't really know why.
Because we haven't really restocked
We haven't restocked or
food.
Yeah, so we're still eating out, and every night this week something has been wrong. Every single place we ordered. Every single. I think it's the
Always
universe
something.
trying to tell us
Yeah.
that we need to start cooking again. It's like pushing us out of the nest. Like, it's time.
You can cook.
You need to cook. All right, just kind of slowly, you can see, just trying to get that kind of blend happening. It's starting to get there. All this is going to be covered up by our tree, so again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now the parts out here are not, so as we get out to the sides here, this part will be showing, but this part in the middle here is not. Is going to be behind our trees, so we'll be able to see it a little bit, but it won't be super noticeable. Noticing the light is kind of a little bit brighter on this side, so I'm going to bring the light out just a little bit more over here. Okay. I think we're doing good. All right, let's a little bit more of this light. Try one more time right here. blending, blending. And see how many brush strokes I'm doing this. So I think people kind of get frustrated with the with this kind of blending, because you do have to kind of really kind of finagle it. It's kind of a light, bossing that paint around, pushing it around, and kind of light touches, but lots of light touches. You know, it's not just like once and it's blended. Gonna have to keep. Okay, I'm happy with that. So my tree's gonna be in here. Gonna have a nice dark area around at the bottom here for it, and then let's go ahead and blend out some of the. I'm all out of that dark color, so I'm gonna have to blend some more. There we go, and then I'm going to get some black. Okay, right in here. And I don't want it to be black black, so if it's completely black, then you've gone too dark. You know, so you want it to read a little bit of blue. I may have gone too dark there, but it's actually, look at the reference photo, it looks pretty close. So it's pretty close to what it looks like there. And we still have just a trace of white in our brush here from what we were just blending. We didn't clean it out completely, so there might be a little bit of residual lightness here that's affecting it too. Again, kind of doing the rounded corners there. And then let's just get some of the blend color here, this blue. Come on. There we go. And this is our second layer, so it's going on darker too. Just in general, just the regular color is going to be darker. And then we added that black too. It's going to really darken it up. Okay, there we go. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, definitely. Now it feels like winter, doesn't it? It's awesome. Love it. Love it.
So you've painted an eye.
I did.
That's not my somebody commented that in the chat.
Looks like Stranger Things. Okay.
We're done.
All right. So now I'm wondering if I need to, let me see. Probably need to dry this again. I might be able to do a little bit down here, but really not a whole lot, because we really want to wait. This is kind of the over layer, so we don't really want to do a whole lot there. That's still wet. Go ahead and dry it one more time, hon, if you don't mind, please. I'll get out fresh. It shouldn't take as long because I didn't put as much paint on this time. I'm going to put out fresh, clean up my palette and put out some fresh paper towels here because I destroyed these ones. So I'm just going to scrape all this color off. We'll blend some more of that because we're really going to need some more. Anyway, so I'll put out some fresh color here and we'll get it going. I need more glazing liquid too. Okay. This is just a glass palette with a razor scraper here. I get a lot of questions about it. It actually works pretty good. It's nice because I can clean it off really easily in between. I'm just spreading out blue all over it now. Get the clean one. Clean it off in between colors like this. There we go. Don't want it in my blue black. There we go. Okay. So put out some more. I'm doing okay on white, looks like, surprisingly enough. But we will need a lot more of that blue. So I'm going to go ahead and mix some of that up while we're waiting. Because we're going to need some for our pine tree. That might be enough, but I'll put out just a little bit more, just in case. And if you wanted a little bit more like purple tone, I almost was going to use purple on the corners, but I just decided not to. But you could totally make the sky a little bit more of the purple tones by adding a little bit of the magenta in when you did it. Nice. Oh, man.
Matchy, matchy.
Farhan. Sorry. Work-related injuries there. Okay.
Workman's comp.
Alrighty, so I think I'm going to use just chalk because I think it'll be less scratchy on here. So than my pencil. So my smaller tree is my taller tree is gonna be right in here. So I'm just gonna kind of draw in the very light outline of it, and it's gonna kind of do this kind of teardrop shape. And it's going to have these kind of arms that are kind of hanging down like that. Okay, so there's that one tree. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm trying to do it really lightly on here so it doesn't scratch the paint off. And then this one's going to be in here. This one's kind of more kind of a upward reach in its branches. This one's kind of going out and drooping a little bit. Like that. And then this one's kind of going up a little bit more and then kind of curving out a little bit. And it's sort of wide all the way down almost. Shorter. Super cute. I'm going to make this one a little bit wider and taller. So it's going to have a little snowflake at the top. There. And then our tree is going to go all the way to the top here. And it is going to go just, so here's our center mark. So I'm going to come just on the inside of that. And do and if you wanted to, you could put it well off center and do your two trees over here and do this big one over here if you wanted to do the, golden mean and get out your calipers and make sure that it's like, in the little golden ratio area. You could totally do that. I would say that would be nice, but this is making a really nice composition. It's got the three. These two are a little closer together than this one. In fact, I might move this tree over just a little bit so it's even closer to this one, or even maybe, but I want to keep this kind of right in the center of that halo right there. So I might move that one over just a little bit so that it's a little closer to, like right in here, maybe. Something like that.
Did you say you wanted me to sing Halo?
And this one is pretty, I'm just gonna move on and act like I didn't hear you say that. Just like, and
I didn't realize that I also sound a lot like what's that British singer lady?
Adele?
Yeah, I sound a lot like her too.
Do you?
Yeah. You want me to sing for you?
No, it's okay. I'm good. No, you're going to get me in trouble.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound as good in here.
It sounded a lot better in your car.
Yeah, I think it's the acoustics. It does sound better in my car. With the volume on 36.
Don't make me laugh. Make me choke. All right. It's awesome. I'm going to bring my snow up to here. I just realized I have it way too low right there. So I'm going to bring it up a little higher. So my rabbit's going to be a little higher than that. And we'll draw him in later. I'm not going to draw him in right now. Okay. We'll do our tree and then we'll draw him in. Super cute. All right. So let's see. What do we want to do? We want to we want to mix up some more of this. I feel very scattered today. Not sure why. I guess because I've got so much going on this week. I'm excited to see Liam, our only grandbaby. So, and he lives 6 hours away, so we haven't seen him since May.
So our next show is Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, we are doing a show on Tuesday night. It's going to be hopefully a really short one. We'll see, because they're going to be here. So.
And
I didn't think they were coming until Wednesday. So
and Angela will be talking like a little child. Because Liam's here.
probably will be.
Just saying.
So if I'm talking in baby talk to everybody, you'll know why. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so just mixed up some more of that. This time I kind of ended up with a little bit more of the burnt sienna, which is fine actually for our trees because it gives a little bit deeper color, not as blue. Although I do want some, I'm going to have some more phthalo blue. I do want some almost just ice blue color. So I'm going to mix up some phthalo blue, just a tiny bit. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this on my knife and pick up, oh golly, that is just the wrong sound, isn't it? Actually, I don't need that much. I just need a little bit. And a lot of white. Oops. That burnt sienna just makes the tones down that blue, neutralizes it a little bit because that blue is so bright. Phthalo blue is one of the highest tinting colors out there. Just a little tiny bit. It's like the nuclear option. You do not need a lot of it. It is. It's like the nuclear option of colors. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here and just use what's left on my palette here with this white. Get some more. There we go. So I have a nice ice blue that's just a little bit tinted with the burnt sienna to tone it down so it's not so bright. All right.
I must be tinted with phthalo.
Huh?
I must be tinted with that too, so I'm not so bright.
Is that what happened?
I think that's what happened. When I was made, I was tinted a little too much.
I love it. I need to have t-shirts made. Get tinted or something. I don't know.
That's what all the kids are doing today nowadays.
It would make a pretty funny shirt, I think.
They're getting tinted.
Huh?
They're getting tinted.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Right.
You can tell we're tired. All right. So I'm using the long script liner. The longer liners can tend to look a little bit intimidating, but actually you'll be able to do longer lines with them. They're a little bit harder to control though. So if you have a really hard time with liner brushes, you could use a shorter liner for this, but you'll just have to reload it more often than I will on this. Also, I'm using the little bit thicker one so that I can make these thicker branches. And then it'll go to the thinner branches. But if you decide, if you really have a hard time with thin branches, then get yourself a, let me see, I have one that I really like that is 18-aught. Whoops, not that one. Where is it? Come on. It's hiding. All right, let me just grab the whole thing. There it is, 18-aught. See how thin that is? So if you have a hard time with lining, get a brush that's not going to be any thicker than the lines that you want to make. And that way you can't really make thick lines with it. The only way you could, make super thick lines is if you go over the same line over and over and over again and make it too thick. But that'll keep you from, making super thick lines, and just make sure that you use a watered down paint. So a thinned paint is key for lining. That is the number one problem that people have. They use paint that's too thick. And that's why I'm using this golden fluid acrylic for this today. It comes real thinned out, but it's highly pigmented. It's just as pigmented as my regular paint. So if you don't want to, buy like a separate whole thing of like a, the same color but a separate whatever, just go out and get yourself some craft acrylics, because it won't make that much difference with something like this. So get one of those, $1, $2 bottles of craft acrylics to pull out and use for things like this. You will thank me later. It'll be way easier to use than the heavy body acrylics for stuff like this. And you don't have to use it all the time. I don't use it that often, but when I do use it, it's really helpful when you use it for branches and things like this. It just makes it go on so much more smoothly. All right, so
we had a question. Somebody said that you said the canvas was very smooth.
Yes, it is.
Do you mean smooth like foam board?
Kind of, yeah. It doesn't have hardly any tack to it at all. It's you can see how fine the and it makes it super easy to do lining on. So that's one of this is the only size, this is the only kind of canvas I have in this size. So I was pretty much stuck with this anyways, but it actually is probably what I would have chosen anyways, because it makes doing these lines so much easier if you have a smooth canvas. When you have a thicker canvas, it just grabs that brush and makes it a little bit harder to get these thin, smooth lines. Not impossible. I do it all the time, but if you got the option, use a smoother canvas. You can also use a canvas and gesso it until it's smoother. So you can. Okay, I'm trying to keep the shape in mind of my tree. So I'm doing these major branches here, and then I'm gonna kind of branch off. But maybe what you want to do is just kind of lightly sketch out sort of your shape. So here's my shape of my tree. So that I have some branches going out to all these areas where I want. So I need to have some branches coming down this way. So it makes sense, that something down here has got some. So if you do like that I just did, and you get a thick spot, what you're going to have to do is make the whole thing thicker all the way to the end. So there we go. And just wiggle. And I make Y shapes, so you see Y. That'll make a more natural looking tree. You have all these little branches coming off, and then make sure that every now and then you have ones that are crossing over, so that they're not all just kind of separated and behaving nicely. Some of them are gonna, cross over, and I'm just lightly, changing the pressure of my brush as I get towards the top, so that I have it gets thinner as we go up. It's going to be the harder part of this. So what you could do if you really hate lining and you're just like, I want to do this, but I don't want to worry about the liner brush, is you could use a pen. So I have the pens that I draw, that I write my name with. You could totally use that. See, I made that too thick right there, so I'm just... Now widen it out all the way down. Which is fine, it probably need to be wider anyways. Oh, it's pretty. It's very zen, like just kind of... I never really sketch out my branches. Maybe if I was to trace anything, I might trace out my main branches, you know, just to kind of give me a starting place. But it's just so much easier to do it freehand, I find. But you know, that's up to you. And I hold my brush, hold my brush pretty close to the tip, but I'm keeping the brush upright. That's the main thing with liner brushes. You do not want to hold it lazy like this, because you will not get any kind of lines out of it holding it this way. You have to hold it upright, right up over, and really you're kind of almost leading it, almost like you're pushing, I don't know what I was trying to say there, but you get the idea. I'm just keeping it upright, so you're leading that brush to where you want it to go instead of pushing it. All right, and I'm pretty happy with that. And then if you want to get fancy, you can get a little bit of the blue maybe and kind of do a little, just a little kind of light, very light hatching on there. I think that's good. So let's get my, I'm going to let that dry, and we'll work on our trees here while we're letting that dry. So I'm going to get this phthalo blue mixture that we made before with the burnt sienna. And I'm going to get a little bit of the black. And with the fan brush, you really want to load up your brush pretty thickly, but mostly on the tip. So you can kind of see how I've got it loaded there. And I'm going to, there we go. On these ones, these trees that I'm seeing are kind of like kind of bent down here. So I'm going to kind of set it down and kind of just slightly yank it down just a little bit. Does that make sense? Kind of set it down and just kind of pull it down a little bit. This middle part's mainly just all full, but I do want to kind of stipple it a little bit. Okay, oops. And then at the top here, I'm just gonna kind of do a upright and just kind of let it go up a little bit, but it really does kind of start to droop pretty rapidly on this one. So there's not as much. Sometimes you'll see like the first few little bits of a pine tree being straight up, and then it starts to curve down, but this one's kind of curving down pretty quickly, which I don't know if it's even a real tree. It's probably Photoshopped, so you know.
Are you saying that this isn't a real picture?
You can probably do your pine tree however you want to. That's what I'm saying. No, honey, this is totally real. What? The rabbit is in full focus and perfectly visible against this silhouetted background. That would totally happen. It's holding still, looking at us, posing for the photograph. Okay. So this one, I'm going to be a little bit more selective. There we go. And then, so it does kind of go upward and have some outer things here. Having enough paint on my brush is what's key. Because if I don't have enough paint on my brush, then it's not going to come off, and what I'm going to end up doing is pressing down harder and harder to try to get that paint to come off, and then you'll end up with these really thick, weird looking branches. So if it's not coming off your brush, just add more paint and maybe add a little bit of water to help it offload. A little bit of water, a little bit of glazing liquid maybe. There we go. Bob Ross made this look so easy, didn't he? He did. He would like just do like three brush strokes and then be done. Pine tree, like it was like magic. I loved watching him. And then I tried it with acrylics and it didn't work. Oil paints and acrylics act a little very different. You can get the same effects, but you got to know how they're different. And I didn't at the time. So in college, I had a lot of issues with trying to paint like Bob Ross. I think that's probably why I do these videos, because I'm like, I want people's experiences with painting to be fun. I know how frustrating it was for me when I was trying to learn to paint and kind of didn't really know how to get the results I wanted. So kind of turned into a whole thing. And now we have people from all over the world watching us. It's pretty amazing. Mark and I were just talking about it. It's just like so cool.
We had,
to get to, he was saying somebody from Bosnia.
We got Sicily and Jerusalem.
Wow.
And then our usual suspects from Canada and Australia. And
yeah, I know Jane Yates, the one that submitted this, one of the ones that submitted this. She's from Australia, and she's visiting Hobbittown this week. I don't know if she may have already gone. I don't think so. I think she was gonna, but she. So she may not. She's probably not watching today.
There's some Swedish lady in here too.
Oh, Mona. Yep. I know. Pretty cool. Friends from all over the world.
Yep.
All right. So I'm trying to think if I want to use this brush. I think I will try it and see how it goes. If this does not turn out, we will switch to a different brush. So I might use the smaller one, but I'm going to just try it and see here. I'm going to start at the bottom here and just do a little bit of it. So I'm going to do that and then kind of, there we go. Kind of using the edge of my brush. That's working pretty good. So these ones in the middle are pretty much just kind of coming straight out at us. So we're only kind of seeing a little bit of it. And then as it comes around the sides, we're seeing kind of more of this line happening. And okay, that's working. I'm going to go slow because I don't want to, I tend to overpaint pine trees, kind of like I do with flowers. It's like if I have an open spot, I want to fill it up, with flowers. So I tend to do the same thing with my pine tree branches, and I don't leave these pockets of dark in there, which are really important. So just kind of go slowly, build this up slowly. So I'm going to go right up on my branches and just kind of tap right over the top of my dark, and then kind of just pull down a little bit. See how that worked? So let's do it over here. Tap over the top and pull down just a little bit. Tap, tap, tap. I'm really not having to pull down much on these upper ones because they're so small. So they're already kind of, just by angling my brush down a little bit, it's already kind of giving me the look I'm wanting. There we go.
Am
It's
I
working.
giving you the look you were wanting?
I like your new haircut.
You like it?
I do.
Good.
They always cut his bangs way too short. So they did a good job today this time. Mark's like, if you want it a different way, you should cut it yourself. He's still trying to get me to... I cut his hair for how many years?
So back in the day when we
20s?
had no money,
Right.
Angela would cut the 3 boys in my hair
For years.
for years. And finally she was like, okay, enough.
We have enough money now for us to afford for you guys to
I'm
go to
not
a
doing
barber.
it anymore.
My hands are done.
That was a very sad day.
I know Mark prefers. He doesn't like people touching his face. Except for I noticed you did go back to a woman, which...
Okay, so here in the United States, there's a chain called Sports Clips. And it doesn't smell like something died in there. Because nobody's getting their hair colored or permed or singed off or whatever you ladies do in there.
Right, right.
So, there.
Okay. Whatever you tell yourself.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It has nothing to do with cute outfits and adorable ladies cutting people's hairs. Okay, check. It's all right. I'm not bitter about it.
I was going to say.
He's like, if you want, I think you do it on purpose because you're like, you know, that I don't. So he's like, you know, if I annoy her enough, she'll start cutting my hair again.
You realize I take my glasses off when they cut my hair, right? I can't see.
Okay. Good point. Good point.
It's like when they're done, they're like, okay, how does it look? I'm like, I
don't know.
I can't see.
anything.
I don't have my glasses on.
Okay. All right.
I can see this like blurry blob in the mirror there.
Good point. All right, that's good. We'll add more kind of brighter white to it, but that'll be our start there on that one. And it's not, I added this. I didn't end up using this icy white, or this one's going to be more for the tree, but I am kind of pulling out of that a little bit, but I'm using this kind of deeper blue that was the undertone for this one. So just mentioning that. I feel like I should. Yeah. No, it is a pretty cool place. I take Spencer there too, so I'm just teasing you.
Real quick, somebody asked a painting question, believe it or not.
Okay.
How dare they? They said that if they don't have phthalo blue green shade, what could they do?
You could add, what color do they have? If you have like ultramarine blue, you could add a little bit of green to it. You'll get something similar to this. Add a little yellow to it. Just, you know.
If you swing by the house, we'll give you a little bit.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Don't do that, please. Crazy. Okay, this brush is like a little bit too big for these little spots, but it's working. So I'm going to stick with it for now. It's just going slow. I would kind of probably switch to a smaller brush if you have a hard time controlling these fan brushes, because I'm really having to use the corner mostly then. So if I had a smaller one, it'd just make it a little bit easier. But why do it the easy way, right? I'm gonna get that off again because I would like to see right in here where I got it too much. If I catch it right away, I can kind of just dab it right off. It just comes right off there. And if it doesn't, then and I just put in almost the same what I just took off. So let's leave it. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, if it doesn't come off all the way, or, you know, whatever, you can always put the dark back on, you know, over it. So I need some dark, actually, right in here.
Be like borrowing a cup of sugar. Can I borrow a dab of phthalo green blue shade? doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No.
She's thinking.
Sorry. Yeah, I am.
She's focused.
Just trying to think if I need to do any more here. That's good. Cute. All right, so let's clean that out. And I'm trying to decide how I want to do this tree. So the dilemma is it's a bunch of little sticks. You know, it's like the branches are all ice covered. So I could go in and, you know, try to paint them all in with like my liner brush. I'm thinking I can probably either use, I could use my angle brush or the smaller fan brush or like the Willow's blender. What I was going to say before was like you could totally do this tree with the Willow's blender, probably turn out really good. And I did put way too much highlights on here. It's way more than on the reference photo. But, you know, that's just, it's my tree, so I'm going to do what I want.
That's it. I'm calling the art police. Doing what you want.
Do what I want. It's my painting. So let's try it with this and see what it looks like. So I'm gonna use this kind of medium blue to start with for the background of these branches, and that could work. Let me try the fan brush. See if I can get it thin enough. I just need it thin enough so that I'm using this glazing liquid just to make the paint a little bit easier to come off my brush, and adding some water too. Yeah, this is probably going to work a little bit better. Yeah, that's working. So you're getting that kind of feeling of these lines, but we're not having to paint every single individual one. So I'm just going to kind of follow these branches and do these in the direction of the outline of the tree. So as the branches go up, I'm going to point these up. And as they go to the side, I'm going to point them to the side. Pretty easy. And kind of in the middle here, I'm just going to kind of do them every which way because they're all going to be kind of pointing straight at us. And down here, they're pointing down.
And it helps if you hold two brushes in your other hand while you're doing it. Gives you gives you more control.
Confidence. Yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't like my pine trees, but that's all right. I have several pine tree videos, so I have them every time I do them differently. Seems like. So maybe you'll find another one that you like better if you don't like these ones. I think my favorite ones were the bear that I did for the bonus video a couple of years ago, or last year, I think. Around this time, we did that bear mountain. And those pine trees, there were a lot of them. I liked the way they turned out. Alrighty. All right, so let's just use this and the lighter blue now. And do another layer with the lighter blue. This is going to be kind of more visible, so be a little bit more careful where I put these. Be more aware of the direction that I'm pointing my brush. Let's do some straight down. just tapping straight lines, pretty much. You can see I'm kind of rocking it back and forth here so that I'm not getting any like matchy lines happening. As I get over the lighter colors, you're not going to be able to see it as well. You should be able to see it pretty well down here though. And I'm going to come well out from my branches, and try to get my outline kind of interesting. Keeping that same shape, but not have it perfectly. You see how they're kind of, every now and then I have one that's kind of sticking out random. That's what we want.
What size fan brush are you using?
This is the 10-aught, so this is a little bit smaller than one I use for the pine trees. Okay. Very wintry.
And of course, down below this video, you get to show more. You'll see a link to the brush guys.
Yes.
You get 5% off with the code Angela Fine Art, and you can purchase these brushes there.
Yeah, you
if you
can.
get one.
Mm-hmm.
Or send a link to your family, friends, significant others, and say, "Hey, this is what I want for Christmas." Right here.
Yep.
I like it when Angela either buys herself something from me or tells me exactly what she wants me to buy her. Makes my life so much easier.
Yeah, Mark is pretty. I never really have a surprise about what I'm going to be getting for Christmas or birthdays anymore.
You were surprised with that George Foreman grill.
I was surprised one year with a George Foreman grill and never again. Left it up to Mark to decide what I got for my gifts. So.
Did you or did you not say you wanted one?
I said, we probably should get one of those or something to that effect as we're walking by it in Walmart. Not as we were. Yeah, never mind. We're not going to go there.
Not for an anniversary gift?
Not for an anniversary gift.
Oh.
Yeah. Like she said she wanted one of those.
Done.
Easy. I'm so glad when she tells me what I want, what she should get. I know. Bless you, you try. Hey, at least you remember our anniversaries and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Anniversary is pretty easy to remember.
Because it's like day before your birthday.
Day before my birthday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's turning out all right.
Okay, we got a question here.
Mm-hmm.
They say that I'm a new artist.
Okay.
So how long did it take you to get your branches skinny? They work and they come out fat.
Are you thinning out your paint? Because that would be what I would think probably your number one thing to look at first, and then make sure you're choosing a brush that's small enough so that you can't get them too thick. So if you choose, like I said, before, like get a brush that's super fine, then you won't be able to get it too thick. But as far as how long, I don't would say by the time I got pregnant with Jordan, I was painting pretty regularly, and I started teaching. So that was 1993, and I was in college in 91, so about 2 years, I guess, until I felt proficient enough to teach. I'm sure before that I was, doing all right, but so if that helps. When 91 is when I could control the brush pretty well because I drew a lot, so I already kind of had pretty decent brush control, so that wasn't ever really a problem. It was just mainly controlling the paint and kind of how much water to add and all of that. So, and I think that's the hardest thing with acrylics. It's just to kind of figure out how much water is too much, when to add it, when not to, that kind of thing. Okay, this is turning out pretty good, I think. This brush is working out, so now I'm kind of trying to just sort of, any places where I see like too much of a straight line, just kind of try to add, some cross pieces so that it looks a little bit more natural, because, just like the straight line is not necessarily gonna be. And I really did cover most of my tree up, which is kind of how it is in the picture anyways. So we can always go back in and add more branches later. So I've decided, like maybe right in here, I want to add back in a little bit of my tree trunk here. So I'm just going to go back in here and just do that, so I can see where those branches are. There we go. And then now that I've got most of my branches, or my white on, I wouldn't do this until I got my white all on where I want it to be. And now I can go back in and just kind of lightly sort of tap over just a little bit, and that way it kind of settles that branch, but I can still see it. Does that make sense? So I don't want to have to do that multiple times, but that, and it actually, we did a pretty decent job. I was worried about that white showing up against that, that light colored sky. So we did good. I think we got it a pretty decent tone, just adding a little bit of that blue to it. Just gave it a little bit warmer tone. This white is showing up just fine against it. So I'm going to bring this out a little bit on these sides here, seeing that this shape is a little bit kind of curves up a little bit. Make it a little bit more irregular on the edges here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Just going to do this is really bright, and I'm using that pure white for this now. So I was kind of using sort of the mostly white, but some of the blue added in. Now I'm going straight for the pure white here. This will be really eye-catching and defining. Those branches go right up off the canvas at the top there. Okay, now I'm just kind of shaping it out, kind of figuring out where I want to shape out my branches, but I think we're pretty good. Okay, so now let's, ooh, it's so pretty, it's all glowy. Let's use this with this brighter white, and I'm just gonna set it down and very, very carefully, kind of just every now and then, mostly on this side that's on the light side. Add a little bit of the brighter snow too. Just tapping is good enough. And some of these in the middle here are going to be coming out and catching that light too, so they can be, but right about here we want to kind of transition to the lighter, and let's do it over here too. So we'll I don't know what this light source is back here, but there's like a magical glow to our sky here. So we're going to just go with it. Very pretty. Okay. And then I'm going to use the Deerfoot Stippler with this white. Might grab a little bit of the lighter blue on the back side of it. So it's got a little bit of both colors. So lighter white on the tip and then the blue on the bottom. This just covers a bigger area. I really could do this with the fan brush too. You saw me do a little bit of it there when I was working on that. Time is it? An hour and a half, not bad. We still got to do our little bunny and then we'll be done. Make sure you leave some of that background showing here and there. Undercoat underneath. And then I'm going to go through and kind of do some snow drifts, just kind of pull it side to side here. Kind of set it down and just drag it. I don't know if I was on camera there or not. Was I off? Okay. Alrighty.
No, just your hands were on camera.
Just my hands were on camera? Okay.
Yeah. I can zoom out more.
That's alright.
Okay. So, how many people do you think are going to paint in a cardinal in that tree?
Ooh, good idea. I actually have one that I did a couple years ago that had little really simple cardinals that would look really pretty in that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Good idea, honey.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. I'm going to use the white pencil here. Okay, perfect. So right in here, our little bunny lives just below the horizon line. He's right in here. So I want his head to be right in here. I can't get this to mark. Let me see. I'll try the chalk. See if I can get it small enough. Yeah, okay. So his little head there. Then his body comes out from there, curves in. Leg goes this way. Back comes from that head out, up and rounded around and down. So this is kind of flat right here. Not really seeing it much. And then the ear ear. There. There's your little bunny. So we'll paint it in and it'll make more sense. I'm going to add just a little bit of Quinacridone Magenta to my Unbleached Titanium here. Make kind of a fleshy pink tone for the inside of the ears. There and there. Super cute. And our little rabbit is gray, so I'm going to use the black and my white and some of the Unbleached Titanium to make it a little bit warmer gray. Pretty. And he's pretty light colored. Get lots of that white. So let's go ahead and we'll kind of put them in kind of darker, and then we'll add our lighter colors on top. I'm going to make them show up. I need more white. Yeah, I was thinking you could also add the deer from the fantasy, forest reflections painting that we did with the purple kind of trees in the background. That deer would look really cute, like right in here, the one that's kind of turned to the side. Maybe mute him, add a little bit more of gray to him instead of the brownish tones. But
you can also paint in the tank from the tank tutorial. Put that in the background. Might want to put that in before you put the tree, just to be easier.
Isn't that so? Is that your pro tip, Mom?
Yeah. Yep.
I think his ears are a little bit big here, but that's all right. It's live. It's not going to be perfect. I watched an interview with the Black Keys, which is one of my favorite bands. Mark and I got to see them in Lollapalooza in 2012, I think we decided. And,
Yep.
you know, they're just awesome. They've played all over the world and just mega band for the alt indie crowd, you know. If you like that kind of music, you know who they are. And, or you probably heard their music if you don't know them by name. But it was really interesting as he was talking about how, you know, he was having panic attacks for a while before they would play, and he would get all up in his head and kind of just worry that people were judging him. And I'm just like, it's just amazing to me. Mark and I were talking about it because I get a little bit freaked out too sometimes when I think about that people are going to be watching what I'm doing. But he said that he went to therapy for it, and he said his therapist was like, you know, nobody wants perfection. They want, you know, the thing that's interesting about art is that it's not perfect, you know, perfect. If I wanted perfect, I could just go and take a photograph or whatever, you know. So that when we, you know, put these unrealistic expectations on ourselves in our art, then that's when we, you know, have problems. And really that's not what people want to see anyways. You know, they want to see reality. So that really helps me. Like, that's actually something that we had talked about years when we first started doing these shows, you know, because I would get a little freaked out by it, a little nervous and stuff before the shows. But really it's been a while since I've had that, because I got, and one of my friends, Margaret Twilliger, Margaret, she's my concert buddy, on another note. But anyhow, she and I have these nice long conversations on the way to our concerts. And one of the times, you know, I was talking about it, you know, just about how, you know, just I wanted to do more art. I wanted to do more videos this is before I was doing the live streaming twice a week or even once a week. I still hadn't even gotten into the rhythm of it. And I was just having trouble like finding projects that I wanted to do, because I was wanting to paint them all ahead of time, and get them all perfect. And like that's how I would teach my classes when I did them, locally. I would, spend a lot of time designing and making sure I knew exactly how I was going to teach it and how long it was going to take and all of that. Well, that's good for a local class, but something like this is, I don't know. I didn't need to do that. And I hadn't really gotten into that new mindset of, the fact that, nobody's paying for this. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I can just kind of be myself. And I've been painting long enough that I need to just trust myself to be in the moment and to just work through problems and know that there will be problems and that, I will have times when the painting may, not go exactly to plan. But that hopefully, since I've got enough experience with painting and been doing it for so many years, that I can figure it out, and that nobody wants to see perfection anyways. And when we do have mistakes, that's where the learning opportunity is, the teaching opportunities. Anyhow, it was really freeing for me. It just, I don't know. And I just thought it was kind of interesting to hear other artists, especially somebody like him who I really respect, who's been, doing music for so long, and just, I would think, he's got it all together and knows, everything. That he has the same struggles as everybody else, I don't know why you wouldn't think he wouldn't, but, it's just always kind of encouraging to me to hear that. So maybe not be perfect. We're going to do the best we can.
Mm-hmm.
But,
If you want perfection, then use Excel.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
Spreadsheets rule.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I don't think that's true.
No, but it's very true. Everybody's going to get some level of stage fright or whatever. So.
Well, and with your own art, I think a lot of people are afraid to even try because they feel like they can't do it, or they're afraid that they're not going to do a good job. Well, or have a lot of anxiety about it. And I think one of the most freeing things is just to kind of give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to suck at it for a while until you kind of figure it out. You're not gonna be really good at it at first. It's just like if I started playing guitar tomorrow, I definitely wouldn't know what I was doing for a while. It would take me a while to develop the skills for it and, to figure it all out. And nobody would look at me and to say, oh man, she's never going to be able to play the guitar, or she's not she's not good enough to do it, But somehow with art, we do that to ourselves. I'm going to put these way on the outside. I put them too close to the center. Put those eyes way right on the edge of the eye face there. I feel like we could come in a little bit tighter even. I don't think they can see what's happening with these. Buddy. Okay. There we go. Much better. All right, let me see if I can get off the outline without rubbing him all away. So let's get some of so all that just to say, be kind to yourself, give yourself permission to not maybe do as good as you hope for the first, 10, 12, 15, 20 paintings. It may take a while. Your journey is not going to be the same as mine. So just kind of know that and let yourself be bad at it for a while. If it really is important to you and you really want to learn it, it just takes time. Just put in the work and you'll figure it out eventually, but it may not happen right away, and that's okay. That's a normal part of learning something new. And with art, for some, I don't know any other discipline like art where we expect ourselves to be perfect at it right off the bat. And people, have this thing in their heads that they're not artistic or they don't have talent, and that therefore they can't paint, which nobody picked up the brush for the first time unless you're some sort of genius prodigy and painted correctly. Nobody. I had to learn it. Everybody that you see painting, professionally, had to learn how to use it. And just like anybody else that played a musical instrument or, acts or anything like that, any kind of artistic endeavor, you're going to have to, it's just like any kind of other skill, you're going to have to learn it. It takes time. Doesn't mean you can't learn it, though.
I mean, other than breathing, you pretty much have to learn everything you do.
Yeah.
I mean, walking, talking, eating.
Yeah.
Eating is probably one of the better things I'm good at. I've been practicing a lot.
You've mastered that skill?
Well, I don't know if I'm mastered. I'm still practicing,
You're
though.
still practicing?
As they say, practice makes perfect.
Just trying to give him a little chin there. It's very subtle in this picture, though. It's kind of, I don't want to, it's kind of hard because the bunny in the picture is so small. Right now he looks like he's got a kind of a weird fur cloak on.
Okay, we got a paintbrush question.
Okay.
They said that they accidentally left their fine lines. I guess their fine liner standing up, and now all the bristles are bent to one side.
Yeah.
Is there a way to straighten them back out?
Yes, you can try. It's hard. It'll happen eventually. They'll straighten out. That's not going to be permanent. You can try dipping it in boiling water for like 30 seconds. What I like to do is just put it in hot water. I don't necessarily do the boiling water thing. Hot water, and then shape it, reshape it, let it dry out a little bit, and then try it again. It's going to take a couple of times. You can do... Oh, was I on camera that whole time? Hopefully. Did I move it?
The bunny was, and then you just moved it.
Okay, good. The bunny was... You know what I mean. Oh, I keep saying that. It's making my life difficult.
So heat it up in some hot water.
Heat it up in hot water. Repeat. And then just adding highlights to his back hair and trying to kind of... Man, he's so tiny. His ears like way bigger than they're supposed to be too. Like he doesn't look anything like a bunny in our picture. It's hilarious.
It's okay.
I'm gonna make his back a little bit bigger.
Oh no, he's fine.
He looks super cute.
So if heating it up in water and stuff doesn't work,
then you can use you could use ivory soap or get a cake.
Oh, cake.
Not cake cleaner, like a cake brush cleaner.
I never clean my cakes.
Shush. Would you stop? I'm trying to explain. This is why we get comments. It's that right there. If you wonder.
All right, so get cake cleaner. Never heard of it before, but okay.
Yes, and use that, and it'll dry in the shape that you want it to dry. So this is the kind I'm talking about. Right here. Ooh. It's a cake, and it's got a waxy whatever, and you just put it in there when it's wet and shape it into the shape that's supposed to go. It'll hold it in the right shape, and then you can, in case his face is way too wide, but let me see if I can get him a little bit less wide. This could be bad.
And if that doesn't work, just set them on fire. Buy some new ones.
No.
Make sure you do it outside.
I've done it to multiple brushes. They always bounce back eventually. It just takes a little bit of time, you know. Okay. Just getting some glazing liquid with this darker color. I'm going to put a little shadow. My snow under my bunny. Okay, and then I'm going to get that white and just kind of tap off that edge. Just going to blend it out. Oh, was I off that whole time?
Just the back. Somebody asked if, I lost a question. If their paints look kind of dull after it dries, is there any...
What? Go ahead. Sorry. If their paints look kind of dull. What?
After they dry, is there something that they can add or spray on to get it more shiny, brightened up?
Yes, you can. And that can happen because you're either using like a matte medium or something like that. Matte medium will dull your paints. Using like a paint that's a little bit more of a student grade will also kind of do that. Oh man, not that dark. What am I doing? I'm trying to shape out his leg a little bit. It's kind of looking weird. So he's got this kind of thing going on here. His back leg and then this back here. I feel like he's just getting bigger and bigger. There's the neighbor. Good. There we go. Now he's starting to look like a little bit like a cat. But I don't know. We'll get him there eventually. Just keep on working at it. It's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Now it's a moose.
Now it's a moose. You just said so nobody wants perfection, so we're not going to have a perfect rabbit today.
You can stop painting your animal at whatever stage you want it to be. Rabbit, cat, moose.
Okay, that's good enough. I'm just going to call that good. Okay. I'm going to use the Deerfoot Stippler and stipple a little bit over that. Just try to kind of blend that whole thing in. Oh, he's cute. See, he's so, nobody's going to be looking that close. Anyways, look how far away he looks now. He looks fine.
Somebody named it a cabbit.
That's good. Cabot. I like it. That's a town in Arkansas. Spelled differently, but it sounds the same. That's awesome. Oh yeah. So yeah, the brush. I wouldn't worry about your brush too much. It'll be all right. Yeah. I'd worry more about it if you had paint in it. That's when you really have a hard time. But they get misshapen like that pretty easily. All right, I'm gonna use the white. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue to it if I can find some that's still kind of wet. There we go. Get that gray, blue, white, and we'll make our little star up here. Super excited about painting snowflakes. We're going to be painting snowflakes for one of our videos next month. I love painting snowflakes. They're really fun. So doing the X. Do a straight line and then do an X through the side. And then little V shapes out. I thought you were going to talk about how you got in trouble for me texting you to this woman.
That's true. So, I have a reputation for not getting Angela's texts. Actually, we do it to each other.
Yeah.
And so, on my phone, I have it set to, vibrate, make a noise, do all this stuff. The light flashes. And then, if I don't see the text, it will repeat that every 4 or 5 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Angela got up early this morning and she said, hey, I know you go to the store or something like that. I said, yeah, I'm going to run in and try to get some stuff.
Mark loves going to the grocery store, unlike me.
So she's in the bedroom. I'm
just dotting here.
I'm drinking coffee. I'm checking social media and all that stuff. And apparently she texted me something that she wanted me to get. Yeah. Well, the phone's in the bedroom. I haven't left yet. And a few minutes later, she comes and opens the door. She goes, will you come get your phone? It's bugging me. And I'm like, what? She goes, I texted you and it won't stop beeping. So you're mad at me because you sent me a text. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm mad at your phone. I'm mad at you because what happens is Mark gets up early. Mark goes to bed early and gets up early. I go to bed late and get up late. So I don't know that that's ever going to change. We've been married 30-something years now. And
it works.
And it works for us. So he gets his free time. I get my free time in the evenings. He gets his free time in the mornings. And then we come together in the middle of the day. And everybody's happy. But Mark has these reminders on his phone, or not reminders. He's got these alerts on his phone for our front door.
I've turned those off since.
Thank God. Because what he'd do every weekend, he leaves his phone in, which I don't understand. So he leaves his phone, and I'm just doing white here, just kind of touching up right there. I kind of messed it up. Leaves his phone in the bedroom or in the bathroom where I can hear it. And then he goes outside and like sets off the alarm. Every weekend he goes outside and is running around in the backyard and going back and forth in and out of the garage, and every time it's making a noise. And so then I bring him his phone. This has happened multiple times. It's like our battle of... So then I was just like, seriously, can we find somewhere else to charge your phone so I don't hear it on the weekends? That's all I'm saying.
I will. I was going to make a sweet charging thing in one of the drawers in the kitchen, but you took all the drawers, so I can't do that now.
Yeah, that's not... We just don't have room in the kitchen for it.
Well, obviously.
Not anymore. Okay. Let's splatter.
Splatter time.
I'm going to get out some fresh white here. And my toothbrush. And I'm going to roll up my sleeves because I'm going to get this everywhere. Maybe push my microphone a little bit away too. I don't know. So got a little bit of water. I'm using the thinned out paint though, so I don't really have to thin it out as much as I would normally. Tap it on the paper towel when you're using the toothbrush. Oh, look at that. It's going to come off just so nicely. That using that thinned out paint just makes it so much easier. Really go to town on it. If you want some bigger splatters, you can do. The more watery the paint is, the bigger your splatters will be. But you get finer splatters with the toothbrush. That's why I used it, because our pictures got a really fine little,
Fine, misty.
yeah, misty snow. So, alrighty. And I got a big old thing right here by my bunny, so I'm just going to tap that off so it didn't change the shape of my bunny. And there we go. Not bad. Almost 2 hours. This is that brush or pen that I was talking about that you could use for your tree.
What's it called again?
Pigma Sakura is a Pigma Sakura FB.
Nice.
It's in my Amazon shop, so if you want to look it up, you can.
Yes, it's Super Chat.
Awesome.
We had 2 Super Chatters today.
Oh.
The first one was from Denise. And she says, "Hi, Angela and Mark. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Blessings and good health for the holidays and the year and the new year coming. Hugs and kisses, X's and O's."
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Wow. That's not my Aunt Denise, is it?
No.
Okay, good. All right. Just want to make sure.
And the second one was from Newfie. And she says, "Thank you, Angela and Mark, for all your wonderful tutorials.
Oh.
Love you guys. Your humor, honesty, and art are inspiring to us all."
Oh,
So thank you, Newfie.
That's so sweet of you guys.
The Canadians were bringing it today.
Nice. It's not even Thanksgiving for them either. All right, so we will not be back next Saturday, but we will be back Tuesday, like Mark said, and then we'll be back again the next Tuesday. So we're only going to take one day off this week for Thanksgiving, and then we'll be back for some more Christmassy stuff. So we've got a lot of fun projects planned. I will have my schedule out on social media, so if you want to follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, those will be posted earlier in the week. And you can also already kind of go and click on my name or photograph, and you can see the upcoming videos that we've got coming up. So on the ones on YouTube, and then the ones on Crowdcast, you can go to Crowdcast if you want to check those out, or you can they'll be on my social media posts that we have. It'll show everything. So
you talked about Patreon?
I did talk about Patreon. Yeah, the traceable. I didn't talk about traceables, though. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
So the traceable for this will be available on patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. And
they're $1.
they're $1 for all of the traceables that we've ever done. So back to 2017.
Yep.
We did have some before that, but they're not as many, and so we didn't do them for every video, but now we do them for every video. So
and if you are a member of Patreon and you're still having a hard time finding the traceables,
yes, you can go to thankfulart.com, and the traceables are all linked up with images on my website. So you can go there, search. There's a little better easier search functions. Or you can scroll down through the images and see them all on one page. So it makes it a lot easier to find them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you're having trouble navigating Patreon's website, which most people do, it's not easy to their search functioning is basically non-existent. So Thankful Art is the way to go. And it also has our previous bonus videos listed on there too. So you could see kind of what we've done in the past for bonus videos and for our challenge images, which are the $10 level ones. Bonus videos, $5 level. So, all right. So, in the upper levels, I'll get the traceables as well. And the $5 level also gets the reference photos of the high resolution reference photos of the finished painting and the reference that I use included under that level. So, all right. And thank you again to Deanne Bates and Jane Yates for the image suggestion for this painting. I'm really excited. I loved it. It's really fun to paint. Hope you try it. So, all right. Is that it?
Yeah, and then Tuesday we're painting the ornament.
Ornament, yep. Ornament. So Mark's going to have a lot of correcting to do.
6 p.m. Ornament.
I am going to start with the light blue background. So I will be painting that with I think ultramarine blue, maybe a little bit of phthalo blue mixed in with white. So it'll be a light blue background to start on that ornament. So anyhow, you can really make your background whatever color you want it to. So All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.